Today's Sunshine Note is titled, God's Mushroom Patch. For he satisfies the thirsty and fills the hungry with good things. Psalms 107 verse 9. Recently, I listened to a speaker on the radio discuss the question of whether or not God is a personal God who wants to be bothered with the insignificant details of our lives. A few days later, I had an experience that affirmed for me once again how much God really does care for us. We were spending the weekend at our place in Virginia. Sabbath afternoon, my husband and I went for a walk in the woods below our house. At one point, I looked down to see where I was stepping and was surprised to see a single morel mushroom on my path. You have to understand that we both dearly love morel mushrooms. But those of you who have never had the privilege of discovering the morel, there is nothing quite as good or as hard to find. The season for morels in Virginia lasts about 2 weeks, and if you are lucky enough to find some, the location is a very heavily guarded secret. On this particular day, we searched and searched for more, but there was only the one lonely mushroom to be found. We decided to take a drive up on the Blue Ridge Parkway to a location that we knew sometimes had morels growing in a ditch beside the road to see if we could find enough for supper. Since the area where the morels grew was only a stretch of 500 feet or so, Paul let me out at the beginning and drove to a wide grassy shoulder past the other end to wait. Dusk was fast approaching, which made it hard to see, and try as hard as I could, I didn't find a single mushroom. Filled with disappointment, I trotted back to the car. As I was getting in, I glanced down at my feet and I couldn't believe my eyes. Paul had pulled the car over in the middle of the biggest patch of morels I had ever seen, and it was an area where we had never found mushrooms before. We both got out and picked every mushroom we could find. Strangely, there were no mushrooms before or after where the car was parked, only those right at my door. As we feasted on sautéed mushrooms that evening, we couldn't help feeling that God had grown that patch just for us and then led Paul to park right in the middle of it so I couldn't miss it. Does God care about the little details in our life? You bet. For he satisfies the thirsty and fills the hungry with good things. Psalms chapter 107 verse 9. May God bless you today.